What's up, my fellow fans of anime? Today marks the return of one of my favorite things to do seasonally. Back in a long time ago, I used to do blogging on a regular basis, and I loved doing a post called The Cutest Characters of Insert Anime Season. And today marks the return of that. I am ready to dive back into this very controversial seasonal thing which I do, which is to dive into each season and let you guys know who is the best girl of a given season. Now, I kind of changed it from cutest to best girl because I think that better quantifies a spread of different ideas. And it can either be a cute lolly character that you just want to protect their smile, or a waifu, possible waifu. It kind of covers the spectrum. So whether it is, technically this season is jam packed. Winter 2021 is insane. We have the harems of quintessential quintuplets, with obviously Miku is the best. We have the adorable kids of laid back camp that you want to protect, but obviously they would probably survive better in a survival test than you probably would. We have, of course, the moe nature of the armored titan. Yes, that's a thing. Don't ask. We have the adorable kids of Idoli Pride and Geki Doll that we want to cheer on, and yes, there's probably somebody out there that likes that evil doll that is probably going to kill somebody by the end of Geki Doll. But yes, let's dive into it. I have five of the best girls of winter 2021. And I hope that you guys, after this, will go down to the comments and let me know what your best girl is. Whether, again, it's a cute smile that you want to protect or a possible waifu. It doesn't matter. It doesn't have to be looting everything. You don't have to loot everything. So let's get into it. I have my number 5 is from bottom tier character Tomazaki. Now, I specifically went back and got caught up on this series, but because I had a character in there that I had my eyes on, and it was Minami. And Minami was a character that had a very, outgoing, cheerful nature to her that I was sure she had some kind of tragic past that she was trying to hide. Thankfully, that wasn't the case. She's still happy. But to be honest, Fuka and Aoi are also two very strong characters in that show. Honestly, I think Aoi Hinami is a little bit too perfect for me. Even though I do love her geeky nature, she does seem to be a little off-putting in the idea that she does seem a little bit too perfect. But I do love her to death. I think she's a great character. And Fuka is absolutely adorable. She's, every scene that she's in, she's adorable. But I guess thankfully to the idea that she's had plenty of character development that's happened, she had an entire arc to herself, which was Minami Nanami. She's a character that I would love to hang out with. She's just so bubbly. She's fun. I mentioned in my coverage of the series that they almost try to portray her as an airhead. And at some point, she makes a specific comment about how she's half serious and half playing along, which leads me to believe that she's just that in nature. She wants to be that goofy person, that brightness in the room. And it was even solidified when we talked about her relationship with her friend and how she drug her out of isolation and brought her into the group and brought her happiness. It was her becoming that girl's number one, even though she always felt like she was number two. Everything about this character I love. She's just so much fun, so bubbly, so her sense of humor, while some could see it as being fake, I think it's just kind of that willingness to be silly, and I just love that to death about her. So, yeah, Minami Nanami, definitely a great character this season of Winter 2021. My next one I have is from ReZero's second season, part 2. And yes, I have to acknowledge that I gave a little bit too much attention to Rem in season 1. There was the whole fight between Amelia and Rem. There was all the jokes about who's Rem. I dealt with it. I sat through people's criticism of Rem. I think she's a fantastic character. But I want to move on in second season part 2. I want to move on to, yes, Sleeping Rem. Yes, that is my next character. Sleeping Rem is just as good as any other character in that show. Just her being asleep and being cute. No, I'm just joking. I'm joking. Like I said, I gave too much credit to Rim, and I'm going to be perfectly honest. I'm going to give somebody else a spotlight while Rim is technically sleeping. Let's get into somebody else. Let's give somebody some credit. Somebody that has come into the limelight with this season that wasn't in the limelight before. Yes, that's Ram. Ram is amazing, and I love her to death. Her willingness to kind of step up and okay, I'm gonna be serious. I love Ram too, but no, I think Amelia has definitely earned a spot this season, and it's mainly to do with the fact that she technically is so much of a focus in part two of second season. We got her backstory, and that was my criticism of her as a character in the first season is that as Subaru was just putting her on a pedestal and we knew nothing about her. And I honestly, that was my whole point about her was that I didn't get the fandom of her because we just didn't know anything about her. It wasn't that she was a bad character, we just didn't know anything about her. And that's why I loved Rim so much. She was so much focus. She was such a endearing and supportive character that I loved her to death. But I do have to give Amelia credit in this season with the second part of the second season. She's just all around great character, and it was really solidified in the scene with Subaru and her in the hallway at the trial temple, and she just came out and she just basically told him stop putting me on a pedestal and stop, you know, I'm not just this object for you to glorify. I am my own person. I have my own flaws, and her willingness to jump out there and really get it all out of her system was fantastic, and I absolutely love her at this point. Her personality is gotten so much stronger, and I look forward to her being on the scene now. I no longer see her as just this waste of screen time because they didn't want to get into her. Now we've gotten into her. Now we see her. But obviously Beetlejuice is best girl of the season right now though. Moving on. Let's move on because I obviously ReZero brings up plenty of debates that we want to avoid at this point. But yeah, my next one is Mushoku Tensei Jobless Reincarnation. It is Roxy. Now I wanted to say Eris. Eris has been, again, this is kind of a similar issue as between Rim and Emilia is, as I loved Roxy. She was the reason why I got so sucked into Jobless Reincarnation. Roxy was just this adorable, fun. I love her Seiyu. Everything about her was fantastic. And she was what pulled me into that world. I fell in love with her immediately. I think she's fantastic. But sadly, there's a similar issue as Rim and Emilia, and the idea that now we don't really have much of Roxy at all. We just have Eris. And Eris took a while, but she is technically a tsundere, and she technically fits that bill of something that I really do love. So I want to acknowledge Eris, but technically Roxy is best girl in that show, and I want her back in the show so bad. I miss her so much. But yeah, Roxy, fantastic character. She's just fun every time she's on the scene, even though, granted, technically, like I said, when she's on the scene now, it's her being harassed by a prince. But one of these days, I'm holding hope that we'll get Roxy back. I'm saddened. Moving on, we have one rank priority. I want to spotlight Rika Kawaii. And why I want to bring up Rika is I initially didn't really have much care for her. I thought she was a great character overall, but not a character that I was essentially drawn to. Mainly because her personality is purposely off-putting. She seems very overly cheerful, even though she has other side to her that's obviously nasty. But over time, and especially after getting into her backstory with her mother and her father and all this other stuff, not really necessarily that, but also her personality and why she thinks the way that she does, why she treats people the way that she does, and what she's kind of trying to hide. I fell in love with this character through and through, and like I said, I liked her, but then when we got her story, I fell in love with her. I think that she's a fantastic character. She has such a great personality. Her Seiyu just knocks out this character's voice, knocks it out of the park. There's just so much about her that I absolutely love. And like I said, just getting that extra insight into her, learning more about her, I want to. She is a character you want to protect. She's gone through enough. I hope one day that she can discover her father and get that moment with him again. Would be fantastic. But yeah, Rika's always kind of the one that causes a little bit of conflict, but there's this other side to her that obviously characters like I actually sees in her that I think is very endearing. So yeah, Rika definitely up there for my best girl of winter 2021. Which leads me to my number one. And this is probably going to cause some issues for some people because I'm doing two characters from one series in one list. And yes, I think most people would probably knew that was going to happen just because of the fact that I put Rika number 2. But yes, Ai Oto is easily the best girl of winter 2021. And I'll get into exactly why that is. One, Wonder Egg Priority is amazing. But no, I is a character that I love every time she's on the scene because she has a capability of getting into people's personal space. Like she has the ability of getting in there where people don't want anybody else in, breaking past those boundaries that people put up to get them to open up. This was first kind of seen with Rika when they first kind of met, and that nobody else kind of trusted Rika, but I did. I trusted her and stuck with her long enough that Rika would open up and show this other side that I was able to find. And that has been something that has been, I guess, is technically the reason why the group is what it is. The why these girls have all come together is because at some point I had stepped forward and broke into those boundaries that they put in up for themselves. Now, granted, we still have some boundaries left to get past, and I'm sure we'll get into those going forward. But Aya's been fantastic. She's adorable. She's kind-hearted. She's been through so much, and she's just has the capability of making people open up. And plus, heterochromia. This is I've been holding back talking about this for a while, but it still bugs me to this day that the reason why Ai Oto was so bullied was because of the thing that I like the most, which is her heterochromia. Now, granted, it's seen by some people as being let's be honest, bullies will find the stupidest things to target people for, and that's obviously what they chose to target Ai Oto for. But she's a fantastic character. She's so adorable. She looks great. I love her character design. She is so heartwarming every time she's on the scene. She breaks the boundaries that people put up. She's a wonderful character, and I just look forward to seeing her every single week on Wonder Egg Priority, and I hope everybody else is checking out that show because it's fantastic. But yes, that's my list. I kept putting off this list because I kept going, I might find another character, I might find another character, I might find another character. But no, there it is. I am done. I've solidified it. It's in a video. I'm editing it. It's putting up. Let me know what your favorite characters of Winter 2021 are, your best girls, the girls you want to protect, your waifus, all that kind of stuff. Let me know in the comments below. And if you like this video, please leave a like. And if you haven't already, please subscribe. And I thank you all for watching, and I hope you all enjoyed, and y'all take care.